I've heard different people have different takes on this. Branding and marketing, what's the difference? Is there a difference?
They're in the same field, but they are different activities. Branding is, if you look at what a brand is, like what the actual definition is, to make a mark. It's an identifying mark on it, like on a cattle, on a horse, right? So you have an instant idea of who owns that property. Now, marketing is getting attention, is the act of bringing it to market and trade and commerce. Okay, great. How do we get attention for who you are?
Brand for Apple, everybody knows what that is. Everybody knows what company that is. And in fact, probably more often than when someone says Apple, you think of that company and then you think of the fruit. But you can't just do that, right? Like I could just start a company and say I'm orange and like put a picture of an orange or whatever. Like it wouldn't.
That's market saturation. But they had a definition of the brand internally. Nike had an identifying, this is who we are.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Ballara and this is the Know Your Why podcast. Today I'm here with Jake Isham, the filmmaker turned brand strategist and creative director who helps founders and entrepreneurs turn their expertise into authority through powerful storytelling. So there's a bunch more here, Jake, and I told you though I think that this always sounds better coming from your own words. So first, thank you. Thanks for coming on the show with me. We're both suffering through another sunny Southern California day.
I know, 80 degrees yesterday, man. Oof, it was just rough.
Yeah.
It was just rough out here.
Hard to live this way in late February, where it's just beautiful and sunny and warm outside. So all of you who are not here, I'm sorry, but thank you, Jake, for being on the show. I really do appreciate having you here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Of course, likewise.
Let's start with you. Tell us about yourself. Tell us a bit about your background, and then we'll kind of dive in from there.
Totally. So I grew up, born and raised in LA. One of the rare few people who were born, raised, and stayed, and grew up. You could say almost like a cliche LA story of wanting to be an actor. Growing up, I did a lot of theater. I did a lot of music, and from there, I then kind of realized I wanted to always kind of keep my destiny in my own control. And as an actor, at least at that point in my life, I didn't know how to keep it in my control as a teenager. So I did the logical thing, which was jump ship and try to become a filmmaker, which again, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't seem that far off in terms of, maybe from a control standpoint, but yeah, it doesn't seem
exactly. Writers, if you're going to write and direct your own project, you have so much more control. No. But I went to film school, fell in love with the craft of directing so much that I actually, while in film school, completely forgot that I even acted and wanted to be an actor or had any aspirations along the acting line. But again, similarly, I leave film school and go, what do I do for work now? How do I make a living doing this? My parents, both artists themselves and entrepreneurs, were like, go figure it out. The idea, I don't remember, they might have, but to my memory, they never once said, go get a job. They were like, all right, you want to be a director? Go direct. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
They were like, don't, go get a 9 to 5 and direct 5 to 9. So I just kept trying to figure it out over and over, and learned a lot on the way. But more than a decade after that, I've done over 1 billion views online for clients. I've helped drive millions in revenue. I've worked with brands like Callaway Golf, to Travis Mathew, Campari, to then working with entrepreneurs like Grant Cardone. So
nice.
Yeah.
So from acting, filmmaking, now to branding and marketing, I don't. I've never been in those spaces. Maybe a little bit of acting in high school, school things. But do you feel like those are similar or they share skill sets? I guess I would ask first is do you kind of across those three, I guess, different job titles, but do you feel like they share a similar set of skills?
I think the skill set that it informed me as an actor, you could say one of the first things that you always have to learn is you got to be willing to be curious. Like you don't judge the character. Like you could play a villain. Like you're not judging the villain. You're not going, oh, well, he's a bad guy. You go, okay, great. Where this individual has this life view. And taking that concept of just naturally curious, and then as a director, again, the same thing. You're telling the story. It's interesting. And you're finding what's the unique story about this. And I think both of those, to bring that into the marketing spaces, you could say, like, from an entrepreneur side, my USP, my unique selling proposition, is that I don't have a marketing degree. I don't have any formal marketing training. But what I have is a formal filmmaking training and a formal acting training. So I have an ability, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are building their personal brand. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I do is the ability to get their story out of them and help them perform on camera as an actor, that's where that skill as an acting and as a director come in, is that ability to make them very comfortable on camera, get them to, communicate it correctly, structure their story. And because at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in, formulas. Because at the end of the day, like, scripts have their formula. You have first act, second act. Like if you study filmmaking and scripts, even to the point where, like, page 1, you need to do this. Page 10, you need to do this. And then, like, you have feature film formulas, you have sitcom formulas, you have all the different, like, depending on the medium. But YouTube is the same thing. TikTok is the same way. Like, these scripts have formulas. And if you understand the formula, you can be successful at it.
I like that. I'm going to come back to that, actually. I've heard it described maybe not many different ways, but I've heard different people have different takes on this. Branding and marketing, what's the difference? Is there a difference? Like, how do you view those two? And I guess, anyway, I'll stop there.
Totally. Yeah, they're in the same field, but they are different activities. So branding, I take it a step, where you get into, like, color palettes and topography, that's just the subtle nuance within branding. But branding is, if you look at what a brand is, like what the actual definition is, to make a mark. It's an identifying mark on it, like on a cattle, on a horse, right? Mm-hmm. And it's positioning. It's so you have an instant idea of who owns that property, you could say, right? From, Westerns and cowboys and whatnot. And so branding, it's who are you in the marketplace? So I break it down even as simple as, like, great, who do you serve? What are their pain points? Just understanding how do you, what makes you different than the person down the street? Why do people want to follow you online? Why are people going to buy from your business? How do you help them? Right. And so, like, that's like top level branding that I go into. And then that's where you can go, yes, there's next layers of topography and color palette. These are all, again, ways to differentiate yourself from others. Right. Now, marketing is getting attention, is the act of bringing it to market and trade and commerce. Okay, great. How do we get attention for who you are? And so, yes, branding will inform your marketing. So, for example, if you're in real estate, I wouldn't talk about home. I got to think of a doctor's practice. Like, you wouldn't talk about, how do you fix a broken arm? That's off brand. And even within real estate, okay, great, you're a real estate investor and you focus on multifamily. Well, don't talk about single family unless it's like, great, single family is not a good investment because blah, 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 you should go to multifamily. branding yourself, you're getting known. And that's where branding informs marketing, but the actual act of marketing is the creating the social media content, creating your ads, creating the blog articles, creating SEO.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and maybe again, as someone who's, not lived in this world, but it almost seems like a chicken and the egg sort of thing. Like if you, I don't know, I think about, the brands that everybody knows, like when you see this, even you see that the Apple symbol, right? The brand for Apple, everybody knows what that is. Everybody knows what company that is. And in fact, probably more often than when someone says Apple, you think of that company, then you think of the fruit, right? But I don't, but you can't just do that, right? Like I could just start a company and say I'm orange and like put a picture of an orange or whatever. Like it wouldn't,
But that's market saturation. But they had a definition of the brand internally.
okay.
Nike had an identifying, this is who we are. Now, it just takes time to let the masses, or like your specific, I mean, Nike and Apple are two of the biggest, brand proliferations in the world. But you can have that same thing. I mean, let's just try to think of, since we're, real estate back, Grant Cardone, right? Within the real estate space, he is pretty much known within that space, though. So he has the same kind of brand awareness within real estate that Nike does across athletics. Now, does the average Joe know who Grant Cardone is? No. But does the average Joe need to know who Grant Cardone is? No. He's mainly going after entrepreneurs. Like, he knows his target audience, but he knows his branding well. And then it's marketing's job to get it out there.
Are you planning a remodel or construction project? Overwhelmed by the process? Over budget? Extended timelines? Strained relationships? We are all too familiar. At Lark Construction Services, we help homeowners and business owners take control of their construction journey, from reviewing bids and contracts to catching red flags before they become costly mistakes. Our Clarity Audit is a one-on-one expert review of your plans, estimates, or current progress, giving you the peace of mind and a defined action plan to move forward with confidence. Don't let confusion lead to costly errors. Visit larkconstruction.com and schedule your free call today. Lark Construction Services, saving you time, money, and stress.
You mentioned social media and using that as marketing in the marketing. Do you think that social media is the best medium for marketing for brands in general? Are there specific industries that you think it's better?
Yes and no. Because there's kind of a thing you need to look at customer journey, and you need to look at levels of awareness, right? The thing I want to say about why is the best, big air quotes around that, because never before in history have you been able to put out a video, get 1 million views, 10 million views, 100 million views for your company for free.
Sure.
And anybody who works in advertising, or any business owner who has ever looked at the bill that it costs to get 1 million impressions, to get 10 million, 100 million impressions. I mean, you look at what a Super Bowl ad costs. One ad placement gets you 130 million views, runs you several $1 million.
Right.
You can get a 30-second ad, quote unquote, to promote your business for free. All it takes is understanding the structure and having a very clever idea around that structure. So that's why why others might say social media is the best to be on, and you have to be on it, because at the end of the day, on the other side of it, it's like, oh, well, I run B2B and I'm not B2C. And it's like, yes, but realize what makes up B2B. Humans, right. People. Are humans and people on social media? Yes. Yeah. Sure. Does the CEO, the exact person I might, want to follow, like reach is not there. Sure. But is their assistant? Is there secretary? Is there wife or husband? Is there dog walker who might go, hey, you should see this. Like the amount of things I send my wife that she then ends up buying, I know to not send it to her.
Right.
And I go, well, that's going to cost me an extra $150 this month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like the amount of restaurants, as simple as that. Like if you think about it as like a silly example, the amount of restaurants that I'll see that pop up on either my TikTok, my Instagram, or whatnot, that then I go, hun, we should definitely go here for a date night. Boom. That's $200 gone. But again, they're just putting it out there. And they know, okay, great. Because right now we're in an age of social media that's very different than it was a decade ago. About 5 years ago, 6 years ago, around 2019, 2020, it really changed with TikTok because it's all interest-based now. It's not follower-based. It's not like people who like that type of content will consume that content and will get shown that content. So Jason, you can speak on this too if it's real to you. Because you and I are based in Los Angeles, there's a certain amount of Los Angeles content that show up on our social media feeds.
Sure.
I don't get Green Bay content. I don't get Nashville content.
Yeah.
I don't get, Jacksonville, Florida content. But I get Los Angeles content, but then I get a lot of social media marketing. Like I have multiple accounts, and it's very funny to look at like how my feeds are different, even though it's all me, but because I put out different content, I receive different content also.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's why I think social media is the best. Yes, for B2B marketing, going to like podcasting is fantastic. There are nuanced strategies within social media marketing to take advantage of it greater, but the overall idea of having a social presence is unbelievably important.
Yeah. I think the point about it being, whether it's B2B or B2C, it's, human to human ultimately is what it comes down to. And yeah, it's social. It's right in the name. But yeah, the fact that, though, one person in the company that you're marketing to may not see it, your point about it, being shown to them by someone else that they know or work with or whatever. I mean, that is I have a very good friend who loves to send us things from that he comes across, and not always stuff to like buy. It's not marketing, but it's like, here's another reel I saw that was funny, and I send it to you. And I think people do that a lot. Ultimately, I think it comes down to human psychology in knowing what you just stated, that it's, people are going to other people in the company, but also just that piece that you mentioned about, just creating attention and the difference of what's on your feed and all of that. I mean, just comes down to the algorithms kind of probably understanding our psychology better than we do in a lot of instances, or making, being more aware of it anyway. When you work with a client, you said a lot of what you do is kind of bring the story out of them. How do you do that? How does one discover their own story? How do you help them discover it? What's your kind of, you don't have to give away all the secrets, but like, how does that process
I'm happy to give away all the secrets. It's not really sexy. It's not really, when I say it, people are going to go, well, that's kind of obvious. But it's annoying because, it's annoying, silly, whatever, however you want to define it, because it is that obvious and people get overwhelmed with it. I will get to it. I want to give a quick analogy first, which is most people overthink social, especially entrepreneurs. That I don't know what to say. I don't know who, and they get very overwhelmed by it. And it's very similar to going to the gym, where how do you get in shape? Whether you want to lose weight, gain muscle, whatever your goals are, but like, how do you achieve your body goals? You eat healthier, which is typically just less. and you do some sort of physical exercise. That could be 15,000 steps a day. It could be going to the gym. It could be Pilates. Like there's a million ways. Again, you do any exercise, it's better than no exercise.
Right.
If you do more exercise, it's better than doing less exercise. Like it's not that complicated. Us humans, for whatever reason, seem too complicated. And because I think the things that are more simple, we can't have that. It's so simple. So we like to, this is a lot harder than I think it is, when it's not really.
Right.
So social is the same way. I really start with, okay, great. Just who are you talking to? It's your clients or your potential clients. And I go, great. We're just going to talk to them. Like define it more. Is it moms over 40 that live in Nebraska? Great. We're going to talk to moms over 40 that live in Nebraska. Because that's the only people that are going to buy from us. So let's focus on that. Is it, teenagers who are rebelling against their parents that, this age, but they're seniors in high school and they're trying to find direction. Like it doesn't matter what the audience is. Define it clearly, because that's who we're making content for. That's who we're hoping will consume our content, because we eventually will have a product or service to sell that. What we're going to do is the cliche of provide value, right? We've heard that a lot. Mm-hmm. Now, there are 3 ways to provide value I've found is entertain, educate, or inspire. Us as entrepreneurs will most likely just do one of 2 of them, which is to educate or inspire. That's where you see a lot of, there's a lot of talking, and there's a lot, yes, there's a reason why a lot of people are doing this is because that's what you do. Now, you can put in entertainment too, but it takes a different skill set, and it doesn't always have the best conversion, depending on the industry you're in, right? Like I know a lot of entrepreneurs who've done kind of entertaining type podcasts, and they become an influencer, but it doesn't grow their business. So like you have to, that's its own podcast episode in itself. Yeah. But you're making content that educates or inspires that audience to then go, ooh, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. The whole goal of social media is simply get attention, is to get them to know you and build trust. You build trust by showing that you understand their problems, their pain, their situation, whatever they're going through. You know how to solve it, and that you've solved it before for others. And so you do those 3 things through storytelling. And so it's not just traditional storytelling. Well, let me tell kids, sit down and let me tell you a story. Storytelling is also just structure. Okay, great. How the structure of social media is hook. It's that first sentence, that first 3 seconds, that first opening moment. How do we get something to hook them in here? Mm-hmm. All right. So a lot of long form podcasts, or how do you do that in a long form video? Well, in long form podcasts, you'll see they'll take some best moments and put it in the beginning. So people go, oh, it's a hook. All right. You see that all the time on TikTok where they go, what's up, guys? So let me tell you about, and then it's a visual hook. And then you have the body, and then you have your tagline at the end. So these are these kind of different elements that you walk through somebody, and you hire an agency like myself, you hire a team, you bring in people in-house to just hopefully learn those lessons faster. But you can totally do this on your own. You can shoot it on an iPhone, on an Android. You have a 4K camera in your pocket. Like you don't need fancy lights and gear and whatnot. Yeah. You do it only, like the reason to have a team and do this is just a shortcut and make it faster. The same way you would hire a personal trainer.
Yeah. So many good points there. Where did I say? I mean, the
I went through my presentation. I'm sorry.
no, it's great. It's great. No, I love it's it. I mean, the analogy to the gym is a really great one. I mean, just in general, right? Like you want a thing, you have to do something to get the thing, and if that thing is being in shape, you have to do the things to get in shape. But they're not that tricky. It's not like you don't have to solve a puzzle. There's no riddle that you have to, get through to be able to do it. You just have to, like you said, eat healthy, exercise. That's it.
And be consistent.
Right.
And that's arguably the hardest thing I see entrepreneurs do with social media is that they are inconsistent. That it is a bit of a war of attrition. And unlike the gym where the body needs to recover, it's actually the opposite on social media. The more reps you do, the more validated you are on social, like in the sense of validated by like you're growing more, you'll only get more clients, more inquiries, more views, more attention, the more you do. So you're like, well, I just posted one a day. Okay, great. So you went to the gym and did one rep, or,
right.
You did a workout. The great thing is you can post 5, 10 times, 20 times a day. And you have multiple platforms. So you can be doing, to keep the gym analogy, you could be doing Pilates, weightlifting, running, HIIT workouts, like, great. You could try all these different things on all these different social media platforms but you can build up to it. That's the great thing.
Right. Well, so running with the gym analogy even more, you can do that in the gym too, right? Like you just do something, start with something, go for a walk. Well, then you might start running on that walk. Then you might build in all the rest. So, I mean, it totally makes sense. In the interesting, maybe of all that you kind of in your presentation, you called it, the thing that struck me the most and maybe explains why there's a lot of hang up and maybe explains it for me even. You mentioned the three, educate, entertain, and now I'm forgetting the third one. Inspire. And you said that entertainment wasn't necessary. It did, like, I may be misinterpreting this, but it sounded like you maybe put that at the bottom of the list in terms of importance. And
for entrepreneurs.
Okay. Well, right. Yes. To be an influencer, you probably want that to be
That's
higher.
all you're doing as an influencer. Right. All you're doing is entertaining. That's 100% number one as an influencer.
Yeah.
Is you're entertaining. Like if you look at any social media, like from the biggest celeb influencers that we know to the meme pages, all they're doing is like, share, comment.
Yeah.
That's all it is, because they get paid. Realize the difference between an entrepreneur and an influencer is an influencer gets paid by views. They are literally advertisers.
Yeah.
They're the business of an influencer is they get paid by a brand for more views. A business owner gets paid by driving traffic inwards to their business. So they have to speak to their customers. And if they're chasing views don't always relate to clients.
Yeah.
What you want is the right views. And so if you're putting out entertaining, ha. How many times have we, this is the analogy I always give to entrepreneurs that are talking about wanting to work with me. But I want 1 million views. I'm like, okay, well, you're probably not the right person to work with me, because how many times have you seen influencers push a product and you've never taken a stance? You've never bought anything from watching a TikTok video.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean.
I was just going to say, and so that's why as an entrepreneur, you want to speak, again, understanding their pain, speaking to that, how you know how to solve it, and that you have solved it before. That's all, because 1,000 of the right views, I work a lot in the B2B space.
Yeah.
And 1,000 of the right views at a 1% conversion rate would get you 10 calls.
Yeah.
A lot of clients I work with couldn't handle 10 calls right now.
Right.
Like imagine, Jason, if your call, you got 10 new calls right now, you couldn't handle that most likely.
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot, but
No,
most clients couldn't handle that. And that's
Yeah.
at a 0.1 conversion rate. You'd have one new call.
Yeah.
But imagine if you put out a video and there's 1,000 views every time and you had a new call every time. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. And so the biggest point I tell clients is, look, every client is different. Every business is different. But imagine if I said, for every 50 videos you put out, Jason, your phone would ring. Mm-hmm. How fast would you get through those 50 videos?
Right.
Yeah.
It's
now every business is different. It could be the biggest issue is that entrepreneurs have this like, oh, it's going to be after 50 videos when it's actually after 200 videos or it's after 500 videos. They don't know what that number exists, mm-hmm. but they don't know the number yet. And the great thing is the more you do social media, that number just goes down till eventually a guy, the biggest guys on social media, they put out a video and they're getting 10 calls for every one video they're putting out.
This distinction is like, I mean, maybe I'm just an idiot, but this is so important, I think, because I like as an entrepreneur, business owner, and all that, I have like negative interest in being an influencer. I have this, it sounds silly. Yeah. I have this podcast, but I don't want to be the face of things. Like, I just want to do business. Like, I enjoy that part of it. And so making that distinction between, the influencer only needs that entertainment value. And your point about like the number of calls per view, I start right before you said it, I was like, oh man, if you got 1 million views, like you couldn't handle those customers. There's no way that there's no chance you could have like the conversion rate would actually be too high. You don't want that right away. So it's like, that's a very powerful distinction to think about in mm-hmm. relation to owning a business and how you target your social media.
And that's why I go, it's like, great. I don't care for everyone to know me. I don't need everyone to know me. What I need is every one of my prospects to know me. That's the only people I care about. Like that's why I constantly tell prospects who, if they ever bring this up, oh, okay, great. Followers or views. And I go, we are not the right agency for you. Because at the end of the day, because it was a hard lesson I had to learn many years ago, which is, what do entrepreneurs care about? How does this affect my top line? Otherwise, it's all vanity metrics. Like I've had personally videos that have gotten 10 million views. Didn't drive growth because it was entertaining and had nothing to do with my business. I've had that. And it's just, I've seen it time and time again where the amount of influencers I know that have 1 million followers that are broke.
Yeah.
And I know others that have 1,500 followers and are running $1 million businesses purely off of that 1,500 followers and getting an average of 500 views a video. But they know that they are that person where 500 views gets them one client. One client is worth $30,000.
Yeah.
They ain't mad about that.
Right. I mean, the other point about this, again, to me, this is the best part about having a podcast. Is like it can be, I can relate it all to me, but the pressure, right? Like, when you, as just a consumer of social media, you're like, oh, this person has a lot of followers, or this person, look at how many likes they got on this post and whatever. And so it makes me think that's the way to have growth in social media. And it puts a lot of pressure, like, I'm not entertaining, or that's not entertaining enough, even though you might actually be providing, inspiration or education, it basically meaning like it doesn't have to be all three, right? It's like, here, this is how you do a thing. Do you want to learn how to do this thing? Here's my video on doing a thing. And it doesn't have to be with, you know, fireworks and unicorns in the background. Like, you just teach people things.
Yeah. And the biggest belief break that I have to help with clients, or not the biggest, one of many.
Yeah.
I've went over many of them that I already had to handle, but another one is the KPIs. You know, us as entrepreneurs, very worried about our analytics, our KPIs, right? What are the stats we need to track? And if you're tracking views and followers, those are vanity. Okay, you can be getting, because you can go viral 1 week and then stats crash. Well, okay, we need to go viral again. No, you don't. Because those stats don't correlate with what actually matters. So the two KPIs that, if you are going to track any KPIs, what I recommend is profile visits and link clicks. All the social medias have, and then if there's a third one, which is like watch time, watch retention. Those show you how good your videos are performing. But at the end of the day, what matters is that the social media is driving traffic off social media. That's the goal. These are ads. At the end of the day, they are advertising, but with the softest of pitches, which is basically, it's just all attention and awareness and trust building. But eventually you build enough trust, people are going to go to the profile naturally, then they're going to naturally click the link. You know, that's what matters. So we care about that. Now, because then that informs us, okay, great. 100 people clicked the link to our landing page. How many converted? Well, 1 converted. Okay, now we have a landing page problem. We don't have whatever. We have 1,000 views, 100 people clicked the landing page, 1 person converted. Okay, great. Now let's improve the landing page. Like, you can actually, gives you discernible actions to improve upon. The reason why I say watch retention and watch time is the only stat to improve, because that graph will show you, okay, great, your hook sucks. Oh, you're providing value too much. You're not giving them enough of your storytelling in the middle is not good enough. People are dropping, like, you know, I'll show clients retention graphs where it'll be like 130%. They're like, 130%? What does that mean? And it's like, well, people re-watching your video. They watched it 100% and then they watched 30% of it again on average.
Right.
Like, that's graphs that you want to have. That means you're making good videos.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's so much more important than 1 million views. Okay, what do I do with 1 million views? Like, it doesn't give you anything to change, alter. Like, how do you improve or not improve or replicate? That's the whole point of an analytic. It gives you something to either stay consistent on, improve, or change. Like, that's the simplicity. Sorry, going on my little tirades and standing on my soapbox, but
no,
I love it. I feel passionate about it.
I think it's great. I think it's so important, because I can't really think of another, I don't know, maybe I can't think of it in relation to anything, but even I just say like another marketing medium where the difference in the way you're describing, like the difference between being a business owner, an entrepreneur, and using social media is so different than the way you would use social media as a consumer, or even if you want to be an influencer, if you want to kind of be that entertainer on there. It's very, very different, and not,
it's strategic.
Yeah, it's not obvious.
It's a strategy.
It sounds obvious when you say it, but like, it's not been obvious to me, and it's been a thing that it's like we've been through a million different iterations of our social media, and oh, let's try this. And people say different, some people are like, no, only post once a day. Some people are like, post as many things as you can. Like, there's all these different things out there, but like what you're saying makes sense to me as far as how it should be, would make sense from a business owner perspective, at least. Like, and almost like validates me thinking, I don't want to be an influencer. I don't have to be like, I don't have to be with the way that you're kind
like,
of.
Welcome to our one-on-one consulting session now. Who's your target audience?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you, just so the way I'm thinking about this in my mind at this very moment, at least, is because we recently acquired an electrical company. Okay. And so I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, all these ideas popping into my head of like what we could be doing to grow that particular social media account to bring in customers. I don't care about being like dressed up like a clown doing electrical work. Like I want to actually provide value to people and educate them, and this is why we're a good electrical company. And that's kind of so yeah, I'm specifically thinking about it for that business. But, I mean, I know that a lot of this crosses over, but as we're talking, I'm just like, all these ideas are running. So
I'm gonna say I'm gonna add in 2 points to that. So first and foremost, for the electrical company, the thing that people don't understand is buying cycles of people. Right. So are you guys doing like emergency electrical? Are you guys doing home install electrical, like home remodel electrical? Like, what aspect of electrical are you doing?
All of it, really. Okay. And I think eventually it may be something that we figure out where like one is better than the other, but I have only owned it for 4 months. And so it's been the founder. I mean, it's been around for 40 years. I think what I'm realizing, and maybe what you're about to kind of explain, is depend, like on those different areas, the marketing might be different for each of those.
Yeah. So there's different values you can provide, but what I wanted to say, because I was just giving a keynote to a lot of professional service owners, and the thing I had to tell them, so for example, a roofer, right? Or just going to go slightly industry adjacent. How often do people replace their roofs?
Yeah, not very, especially in California.
Exactly.
When it rains is when they replace their roofs.
Exactly, which is, again, not often.
Yeah.
Or every 20 years, whatever it is, right? So somebody might see your content and literally not be ready to buy because they don't have the pain yet for a year or 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's where social media allows you to keep staying top of mind. Like, you have to do it consistently, because that person might be like, oh, I'd love to work with them, but they don't need to replace their roof yet.
Yeah.
They need to replace their roof however long ago. Like, the amount of friends that didn't know that I ran an agency, because I'm also a filmmaker, I'm also a photographer. So, I tell people certain things, but I'm like, they say, oh yeah, they say something about their social. I'm like, oh, well, I could help you with that. They're like, what? Like, well, I just hired this agency and now I'm in a 12-month contract.
Yeah.
And so they can't hire me for another 10 months legally, because they're contractually obligated in this contract. But my point is understanding buying cycles of clients. Okay, great. Somebody might follow you, and 2 years later, they're going to buy from you because they don't have that problem yet. If I may go on one slight tangent too, just because this is a problem I see with a lot of entrepreneurs. They're like, okay, great. I know I need to do this. How much? It's just, and it gets very overwhelming. And so I want to give kind of like the 5 phases of putting out content, and so that you understand kind of what step you're in, what phase you're in, and you don't get overwhelmed by it. So the first phase is pick a platform. Pick one that if you do consume social media content, pick the one you like the most. If you don't know which one you like the most, if you don't have a favorite, pick the type of content you would like making the most. If you don't have an ideal content, start with video content. There's your 3 options.
It's a good choice.
Start with video content. Now, that could be a video podcast. It could be it could be whatever, short form vertical video, whatever. Start with a cadence of whatever cadence that you think you can do. If you can do one podcast a week, do one podcast a week. Okay, great. Don't worry about the quality. Just the first thing is worry about consistency. Mm-hmm. The next thing is so that's the first phase, is let's just do something consistently enough. Can you do it for 12 weeks and not go crazy and not get disparaged or anything? Can we just get used to doing the reps? The next phase above there is, great, now that you're doing it, can we get it going across more platforms? So we're now increased leverage. Great, you're doing a video podcast. You just started putting out the audio. Now let's post it also on YouTube. Let's post it also on Rumble. Let's post it on Facebook. Let's post the long forms on TikTok. Let's see what happens. Okay, great. Next thing is, how can we leverage that? Now that we're doing across more, how can we leverage that social content to go wider even more? You're doing short form vertical videos. Okay, great. How can we get more leverage out of that? Or you're doing long form. Now we're adding in more. Then you're improving quality. You notice you've gone through the fourth step is improve quality. So you don't worry about quality until you're doing it more, because the thing is this, you will naturally go through improving quality. Now, improving quality is one of two things. The scripting, in the sense of your hooks are better, your storytelling is better, you're doing more prep, you're understanding the medium of how people are liking it, like how to improve the actual content itself. And then there's improving the actual content in the sense of a better light. Okay, great. I'm going to invest $100 on a lavalier, which is a wireless microphone. I'm going to get a slightly better camera. I'm going to get a better microphone. I'm going to build out my studio a little bit more. But that's because okay, great. I'm invested in this. I'm doing this. People do this in the wrong order, and then they get disparaged and they go, oh, well, I've just spent all this money on all this gear. And yeah. Okay. People would rather you have sheer quality and provide great value in terms of what you're saying than fancy, amazing looking things, but then you can't actually communicate an idea and you can't actually help them. Yeah. And then from there, the last step, the very last thing is now, okay, great. Now you're across all these social platforms. Now you're doing this, putting out tons of content. Now you can start going, okay, great. For LinkedIn, let's make more content like this, because LinkedIn likes this strategy. Now you have social platform specific strategies, but that's the very last thing you do. Most entrepreneurs I know will go, oh, we need, I'm like, no. You're at step 2 right now. Yeah. That's step 5 and 6. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If the entrepreneurs who are listening to this podcast are like, okay, yeah. It's like, hey, look, let's just start at 1, 2, or 3. If you hire an agency, you can kind of, like myself, you can kind of skip to step 3 because we handle a lot of that for you. So you don't have to get overwhelmed. But
yeah. That's that's gold. And I think it is very easy to get overwhelmed. In general, as an entrepreneur, anybody who's been an entrepreneur would understand that is it's a challenging space to be in and figure out how to, there's all this noise coming in, do this. This is how you grow your business. This is how this works, all of that. And I think my 2 thoughts on that. One is, if you break it down into kind of a stepwise progression on the branding and marketing, that's one thing. But probably anything in the business can work mostly that way. But also, and then the second thing is, connect with people like yourself. Find help, find teams, hire people for what you're not good at, or that you don't enjoy or whatever. It's just finding. You can't really be a business owner just all by yourself, and so it's kind of figuring out how to implement other people, other skill sets, however that looks. So, really great. I love that breakdown, Jake. I just, in the interest of time, I don't want to keep you all day. This is all it's all very interesting to me, but I want to get the chance to ask you the questions I ask every guest. The first one is based on the name of the show being Know Your Why, and so I do like to ask every guest, what is your why? What's you have an interesting background. We have had a couple other people from the film industry that have moved into real estate or entrepreneurship in one way or the other, but it's not. I don't think it's very common. I don't think that's like the norm. So yeah, tell us a bit about what's driving you. What's the why behind what you're doing now?
I don't know what else to do with my life. What else would I be doing? I mean, you could say a big why that pushed it was a mentor of mine post college when I was like, okay, what do I do? He was like, keep a camera in your hand, get paid to keep a camera. If you want to direct movies, take directing jobs. And so this agency was all a big excuse just to get paid to keep a camera in my hand and to tell stories. So that's why I like working with entrepreneurs. I'm telling stories. I'm still working on my film stuff. And then the other why you could say connected to that is to be my own patron. I've, as a kid, didn't want to be beholden to others, to casting agents, to this, to that. And then as I got to a director, I'm like, well, I'm beholden to studios to fund all these films and I have to sell them. And so I just said, I don't want to be a starving artist. I want to create something that I can then go do whatever the heck I want to do and not care. And so hence me going, okay, great. I'm building an agency. It'll fund me. It'll fund all of my artistic projects and I won't care. I can do what I want to do. I'm the bank.
Amazing. There's always a boss unless you're the boss. I mean, I guess in still you have customers and whatnot, but ultimately, yeah, there's
I'm married, so my wife's the boss at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. my kids know that. They're like, no, mommy's in charge, and I'm like, yes, we're all aware. We're all well aware of who's in charge.
And I picked a fantastic boss. I'm very happy with the boss.
I'm okay with having one boss. I like where our direction is. So when people hear this and they want to connect with you, what's the best place?
LinkedIn is fantastic. Instagram, Jake Creative Marketing. Otherwise, if you just Google my name, you will find my photography, my filmmaking, my agency. That you can reach out to me on any of the channels. I will respond. And otherwise, if you want to look in working with us, or if you want to, you can go to the website creativemindsoffficial.com/digital show. If you want to build out a digital show, otherwise we can also just help you with your own social content via that link too.
Great. Well, we'll get that in the show notes so people can find you easily. Jake, this was amazing. Thank you for coming on the show today. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I certainly have learned a lot. I'm sure the listeners will too. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Of course. It's a pleasure. Love it.
Folks listening, make sure you connect with Jake, especially if you're an entrepreneur and probably especially if you're in the LA area. And please like, rate, and review this show so we can continue to get great guests. And as always, thank you for listening. Hey there, I am Dr. Jason Ballara, and this is the Know Your Why podcast, where we explore the why behind success. Every week, I meet with real estate investors, veterinary entrepreneurs, mindset coaches, authors, and fitness professionals to uncover their why and how it drives them on the winding road to success. What is your why?